Hello everyone, you can see my iMac has gotten a little bit newer. This is a Facebook Marketplace find, and it was $20. So I saw it on Facebook Marketplace, it was pretty close to me, and the guy wasn't interested into Macs too much, so he said, yeah, you can have it for $20, and he also included this HP keyboard and mouse. The keyboard feels pretty mushy, and the mouse feels pretty worn out, but hey, they came with a $20 iMac. So this model is an iMac 7,1, which was released in 2007. This is the first iMac that came with this iconic aluminum design. Before this, they had plastic, which is starting to look kind of old by today's standards. Unlike later models of aluminum iMacs, this actually has black plastic on the back. You can see the vent here, the working DVD drive. And for ports, we have a headphone jack, a microphone jack, 3 USB 2.0 ports, I believe, 2 different firewires, I believe one is like 400 and 800, Ethernet, and a display out that I could not find an adapter to fit. And in there is where the power cord goes, and this must be an intake vent too, because it's always cool around there. When I first set up macOS Snow Leopard, I saw that the camera did work, but when I went back to it, it just wouldn't work, and neither does the built-in microphone, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Maybe the connection is just loose or something, I'm not too sure. If you guys have any idea why, please let me know. This one isn't necessarily a powerhouse of any means. This has an Intel Core 2 Duo, 2.4 gigahertz. This is a T7700, and it has 4 gigabytes of RAM. It actually originally had 2, but he upgraded it to 4, so that's pretty nice, and it apparently wants to do updates now. Now, this iMac looks way too new to come with Tiger, but this originally came with macOS Tiger, which is actually the latest that the iMac G3 can run, which is just crazy that this can run the same operating system that the other one could. But right now we're running Snow Leopard because that's what I had to put on a USB, and it looks really nice on here. But as you could imagine, it's pretty out of date at this point, although it looks really nice on this iMac and it runs really good. But let's restart this into the latest version of macOS it can run, which is El Capitan. So I turned off the lights so you can get a better look at the screen. And here we are booted into macOS El Capitan. Now, I'm not sure why it says unarchived there, but this is El Capitan. So maybe it got messed up when I was making partitions or something, but as you can see, same specs here. Even though this one looks much more modern, it is still pretty much out of date. It can run a fairly recent version of Chrome 103, which is just a couple versions behind Windows 7. But like if we were just gonna go to Google and Safari, you can see that works, but certain websites just don't work. Like, let's try YouTube. And that actually worked. But you do run into some sites that don't work on here just because this browser is kind of old. I don't know why YouTube is saying that. So yeah, you could use this version of macOS if you really wanted to, but really this is starting to become an obsolete piece of software. As much as I hate to say it, because it doesn't look old at all, things are starting to not support this. So you probably want to run a supported operating system, even though that this computer doesn't technically support any supported operating systems. Well, let me show you one of my solutions. So yes, I have Windows 10 running on here. Now, this probably wasn't as simple as you think. Apple only supported 32-bit Windows on here, and that was Windows XP through Windows 7. And they didn't have any other drivers for any future versions. But long story short, I followed a tutorial from Hut Cray Mods, and he basically showed how you can get Windows installed on here and all the drivers working. So basically I had to make a custom ISO with a tool he had, but he actually had some pre-made ISOs linked in the description. But the newest version he had was 1709, so you could imagine I had quite a few updates to install. I got the display, the sound, pretty much all the basics working on here, except for Bluetooth, and you can't adjust the brightness with the keyboard or Windows settings. You have to use the little boot camp thing down here, right here, and then boot camp control panel. And then here you have to go to brightness, and that's where you can adjust it. Really annoying, but it works. So let me show you a quick performance test on this running Windows 10. Here we have the task manager, and here we have Google Chrome. Time to recycle your old electronics. I think not. And as you can see, it's running the latest version. It actually wants me to relaunch it to update it, but we won't do that now. So let's head on over to YouTube. And there's the typical homepage weirdness. Here is Apple. And they're going to have some sort of event. So it's not the worst. So now you're probably like, okay, cool. So you can use this as a Windows 10 machine. It's going to be up to date until 2025, and even past then, it'll still be a good computer. Well, not exactly. First of all, it doesn't perform all that well. Some of it is probably due to the hard drive, because I'd rather have a hard drive in here than an SSD, just because I'd rather have more storage than speed on this thing. And there's also a few glitches, such as some lines running on the screen when you have certain colors up, and it can get kind of irritating. I'm not sure if there's something wrong with mine, or if all iMacs had this, but I don't notice it at all in macOS, just Windows. And you're probably asking me, well, why don't you just install Linux on here? And yes, it is a pretty good option for these. I am not a huge fan of Linux. I mean, I think it's all right and stuff, but to use as an actual operating system, I'd much rather have Windows or Mac OS on this thing. And plus, Linux still has that weird line glitch when I booted it from a USB. So let me tell you this. The reason that this maxes out at macOS El Capitan is not because, oh, that's where Apple stopped supporting it. No, the processor in here actually has physical limitations where any newer version of macOS requires a different type of CPU. You can't actually upgrade the CPU in this, but obviously with it being an Apple product, it's not going to be no walk in the park. But if you guys would like to see me upgrade this in a video, please let me know. So right now it has an Intel Core 2 Duo 7700, and I need at least a T9300, and I can get a 9500 too, but they always show up in China for a decent price. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this thing for now. So if you guys would like to see me upgrade the CPU and install a patched version of macOS, please let me know, because that'd be quite the project. But this probably won't be too fun getting into. I know the glass is held on by magnets, so I'll need some duct tape or something to pull it off, because I don't have any suction cups. And I know that the CPU is on the opposite side of the motherboard, so that'll have to come out. And it could probably use fresh thermal paste anyways. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and thanks for watching. Bye.